I've often talked about my struggles and being obsessive over materialistic things, the materialistic desires that I have really, and considering my personality, I'm a very obsessive person, right? ADHD makes me hyper focused sometimes on things that, like, and think about and dream about things that I don't yet have. A lot of these are materialistic, and I would say that even though it's not like watching, for example, like car porn, right, and that sort of thing, is still a visceral sort of thing. It's not probably as bad as like watching actual porn, but it's still visceral. It's still a materialistic desire, something of the world. Now, the thing is, and the reason why this is so harmful, and the reason why it's not helpful or conducive to you at all to getting that thing. There's a law of detachment, for example, right? I haven't really looked into it, but law of detachment, I'm sure, I presume that if you want something, if you have that needy sort of energy towards it, then you're kind of repelling it, just like you would repel a woman away from you. If you got that needy personality with a woman, you're going to repel it. But why is that the case? Why, what is actually going on there? And the thing is that you're focusing your being, you're focusing your conscious energy, your conscious efforts to try to get something that is materialistic. And the thing is that these materialistic things are always in a very unstable state, if that makes sense. What do I mean by that? The issue that I was having, and I would say I'm in a process of, kind of the manifestation thing. I kind of hate that word. It's very cliche, but what I've noticed, at least in my personal experience, is that whenever you think of the materialistic things that you want, whenever you desire things in a future, or you desire things in general, and you try to manifest them or whatever, when you think about the materialistic things, these are things which are unstable. And if we were to draw a pyramid, I'm going to make a whole video explaining this with a whiteboard, but if you were to draw a pyramid, you would see that these materialistic things, maybe porn is down here, these visceral sort of hedonistic, these very low vibration sort of needs are down here. And these are, we can include, this is as far human as it goes, because even our brains are wired, our limbic system is probably the lowest vibrational thing. It's what makes us closer to animals. Yet humans, we have a consciousness, but we don't have just a consciousness. We're different from animals, because for the first time, there's a species which actually its own intention is to go against its own nature. It's to go against its own human nature, or own animal nature, really, right? And that's what separates us, and that's why our consciousness is actually divine. Because this is why pyramids, even right now, I'm going to draw a pyramid so you guys can see visually, but just so you guys can picture or imagine it. But the thing is, even pyramids, the concept of pyramids is that it's something, it takes the bottom, the base, and it kind of directs it towards a point. And at that point, even physically speaking, pyramids, if you look at Tesla, they kind of extract and produce a perfect sort of frequency of 552 hertz or something like that, or 532 hertz, I forget. And they sort of extract energy from the ground upwards. They channel it upwards. And the whole process of a pyramid is trying to get to the pinnacle. It's that transcendence. And even Christianity, I think, is actually about transcending from your own human nature. Sin is that low vibration state. And Christ is something that is not even on top of us, but above us. So we actually have to take our being and we have to try to be like the divine consciousness, which we were created in the image of. And so what you're doing, though, is that whenever you focus on the materialistic things, you're not focusing on the pinnacle. And if you're not focusing on the pinnacle, then the energy that you're going to produce, like I said, the energy gets channeled at the top, is not going to be conducive to propelling you, or rather pulling that which you envision, because you can't even envision it. Something materialistic, what I notice, if I ever think about the cars that I want, I don't even know what car I want. These are things which are always shifting. These are things that are not stable. They're not only not stable, they're not good things to focus to, but if you think about this level, the second level of the pyramid, if there's 3 levels, the top level is the smallest thing. There's not much room for interpretation there. And that top level, we're going to get to what that top level is, But in the middle section where your materialistic desires are, if you think there's a lot of room for interpretation, so you can't really pinpoint a vision. I can't pinpoint a vision of the exact car that I want. Heck, maybe in 2 years, the exact car that I want will change. A new car will come out. That's something, if you're basing your visions off of these materialistic things, it's not going to work. And I get it. There's an appeal. I don't even mind. To some extent, I'm not saying that you're immoral for wanting materialistic things. Give yourself that luxury, but it's not effective. It's not an effective tool for envisioning, and it's not an effective tool to getting you where you want to be, because it's not a specific vision you could really pinpoint. It's something that's really unstable. The tip of the pyramid, the very tip, is one central point. And so you need to see what that central point is. I can't really tell you because I haven't thought about this enough at what the central point is, but I'm almost sure that that central point is you. And what I notice is that whenever I focus on the second level of the pyramid, I don't actually go up. I don't feel like I'm getting progress. I don't feel like I'm manifesting. I don't feel like it's pulling me in. I don't feel like the vision is starting to, I don't feel like reality is transforming. But what happens whenever I do focus on this other thing, which is me, the person, which ideally is probably the first or the top level of the pyramid, and that's you. Who are you? That's what's actually going to repel you, because like I've said in other videos, it's the person, it's the character which manifests, the quality of the character which manifests the environment eventually. This is why I drew this. I drew this because this is my ideal self in a few years. And whenever I look at that, and I forgot about this picture, I hadn't seen it in a while. But whenever I look at that, in the days that I had that in front of me, I swear I felt the most progress in my life, And after I lost that and I focused on the materialistic desires, maybe I do it subconsciously, because of course we have inherent behaviors. Like I said, the inherent behavior that I've identified, I've put a label on it, yes, ADHD, but it's something that at least helps me. It's a set of qualities that helps me predict my own behavior. And you have to see what your unconscious or subconscious behaviors are, and you have to correct them, and you have to instead focus on the thing that's specific, and that specific thing that you can envision is you. Who are you? And you become that person. Become that person. Literally, this is the extent of which I went to envision who I wanted to be. I literally drew it out. And that's what you have to do as well. I'm not saying you have to literally draw it out, but you have to define who that is. And that's way easier. Thank God. It's way easier to define who you want to be, who you need to be, who you are. Become that person in the now by taking actions. Because guess what? As soon as you decide who you need to be, it should be an instant process where you're already moving in the direction that you actually, more so than desire, but actually the version which you will, the version of reality will start conforming to where you need to be, to where you would be most satisfied. Because if you think about the person who's experiencing this reality, it's you. It's your character. It's your temple of consciousness. And you need to see how you can make it the best, and everything else will fall into place. But you need to stop focusing on the things which are down here. Obviously, if your whole intention of life, and most people's are, this is because there's three levels. There's a self, there's a materialistic, and there's like the hedonistic, I would say, right? This is the way I'm classifying it just for the purpose of this argument. If you're focusing on the hedonistic, and anyone who does that, you know where they are. You know that most people around you, if you're whenever I was in high school, I knew that these kids were just talking about it was all gossip shit and just basic stuff, and a bunch of horny teenagers just like gossiping about like relationships and that sort of thing, or going out and drinking and doing drugs and these things that just satisfy the limbic system. This is like most people, and this is why most people work at fucking like Taco Bell and shit. Like most people are not satisfied. Most people are not moving in life because they don't even know that they're at that third level. The second level are the people who maybe, like I've seen the entrepreneur types, the guys who want to hustle, but they don't take enough action, right? They don't take enough action. They just have these visions, and I used to be like that. They have the visions, they know what they want, and they want cool things, they want materialistic things, but they're all talk. Most of them are all talk. And then there's a few people that you ever come across, and this is something that I struggle, of course, at my age. I'm 24 now, but when I was like 19, it was very hard to come across someone who's at that first level, someone who's actually focused on inheriting, or rather not inheriting, but becoming the man of the qualities that are necessary that will eventually get all the things. If you think about it, the top of the pyramid has access to the other things at the bottom. If you start from the top, you get access to the materialistic things and you get access even to the limbic things. Not that you should focus on it, but if you start focusing at the bottom of the pyramid, you're never going to make it to the top. Make it to the top. Focus on that top pinnacle first. And that pinnacle should manifest itself in you being someone who is working, that actively has the qualities, the character, the person who has everything and works and acts, behaves in the way that is conducive, or rather that you actually truly desire. But it's more so than the desire. It's the person that, if you're living a life on this earth and you live one life or whatever, how many lives you live, you deserve to have the best life and you deserve to be the best version of yourself. You are made in God's image. And why would you ever tarnish that? Why would you ever tarnish the beautiful body that God gave you? You need to, when I talk about you having to become the best self, you need to focus and give yourself the gratification, the satisfaction of becoming the best possible version of yourself. And that's what should be at the pinnacle. And that's what will give you the rest on the way down. Don't focus on the things on the down though, on the third level, on the second level. Only focus on the pinnacle, the tip of the pyramid, the thing that is above you. Transcend yourself and focus. Who could I be? And become that person now. Actively take the qualities, and those are the individuals that are very hard to find. The individuals with the actual qualities of success. And just like in a pyramid, the percentage of people that you're going to find up here are going to be way less than the percentages of the people down there. And this is why, if you're watching this video, you might be one of the people who's at the top percentage. And guess what? It's only a matter of time before the work catches up. It's only a matter of time before everything in your environment starts shifting. If you have the qualities and you're someone who is you probably have the perseverance. You probably have the visions. You know who you should be and who you should become. And you probably take the actions. We all have our struggles. We all have our desires, which are lower vibration desires. We all fall into our temptations. But if you're someone who at least you know that you should be, you have that vision of who you could be and who you should be, and you're actively working, you're inheriting the qualities of that, then you're in the right direction. But like I said, identifying behaviors here, I'm telling you why it's not effective to do anything but focus on the very tip of the pyramid. And that is the pinnacle of yourself. And that is the only way that you can manifest things. And now I want to make a quick part two, because I'm speaking from personal experience here, because I recently had a sort of realization. Whenever I thought of the materialistic things that I wanted, I never go as far as to the hedonistic things, but I sometimes focus on the level two, the materialistic things. Those sorts of things are really, I don't feel any effect. Like I said, they're not effective. But whenever I focus on the pinnacle, it's almost like God, the universe, whatever you guys want to call it, blesses me with this strange sort of energy. And lately, I've been working so hard that I didn't even know it was possible. I've been working 20 hours. I sleep 4 hours. I didn't know I had it in me. My girlfriend just serves me food. She knows I'm working all day. And this is unprecedented levels of energy. And I always say, if we're in a simulation, then the people at the top of the simulation are probably using us as mines, and they're trying to extract as much energy from us. And the person who produces the most energy will get the most results. And you cannot produce the most energy if you're not channeling and focusing your energy like a pyramid quite literally does, according to Tesla. It grabs all the energy behind it. If you're focusing on level 2, you're not channeling it. It's not shooting out the top. But now, if you do focus on that, on the pinnacle of the pyramid, and you're directing all your energy to do that, then guess what? I think you will produce energy. I think you will have an abundance of energy. And this is where I feel the most progress in life. This is where I think that things are just coming to me so quickly. I'm starting to actually see reality shift in front of my eyes, and I have unprecedented levels. I've been blessed with unprecedented levels that allow me to work 20 hours a day, no freaking breaks, nothing, literally unlimited. And whenever I wasn't in that state, whenever I didn't focus, whenever I didn't have my priorities lined up, I lacked energy. So it's so weird because we think that energy is something that's inside of us, like it's inside of our body, but I almost am starting to think that it's something that it might just be an external thing that is blessed to us or brought upon us by the focus and efforts, the intentions of our consciousness. And so that's why this video is so important, because I just want to make that super clear to myself and to everyone else who might watch this, to do that, to try that. It's been working for me, and I just, like I said, I'm still baffled at the amount of I can't go to sleep. I wake up and I have to wake up after 4 hours because I'm just jittery with energy. It's like an abundance. I'm not doing exercise. I probably should be so I can sleep more, because literally the issue is it's not that I don't sleep 4 hours because I want to. I sleep 4 hours because I can't sleep any longer, because I wake up with more energy. Because lately I've been in this sort of I've just been gravitated. It's like something that maybe a future is I'm just being pulled to it. I'm being pulled right to it, and that's like what's keeping me up. I don't exactly know what it is, but it's certainly whatever it's doing is it's giving me the energy to get closer, to make it happen. It's so weird. I wish I could explain it. I know this sounds like a very strange concept, and you guys might think I'm going through a psychotic episode, but or maybe it's the 4 hours of sleep, right? But no, the point is I can't sleep. I'm going to start doing exercise maybe a little bit more frequently to tire my body out, just so I can sleep the full extra hours, because I do notice that the sleep does affect the quality of my ability to articulate myself and a few other things. So it does kind of affect, I do feel some of the lower performance, but not the energy. It's like the energy is unlinked, it's unhinged, and I don't know where it comes from, but I know that because I've been channeling my efforts and my intentions, my conscious intention, it's been doing wonders. So that's it. I've repeated myself quite a bit, like I usually tend to in these videos. I'm identifying that, but I'm going to leave you guys with that. See ya.